I'd like to call the Wednesday, January 18th, 2023 Board of Public Works and Safety meeting to order. It is 9:03, and we will begin with the Pledge of Allegiance. Che Ullman, lead us, please.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Mr. Schultz thought I was going to call on him again.
He was prepared, I bet.
I did start that out, but it wasn't good for me.
There you go. Approval of minutes. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Discussion. All in favor, state by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes 3-0. Public comment.
Nothing yet.
I do not have any public comment sheets. Clerk Treasurer Lehman.
We have the January 6th payroll in the amount of $481,229.25.
I move we approve the payroll.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Discussion. All in favor, state by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes 3-0.
We have civil city claims in the amount of $474,680.40. That does include a lease rental payment for the fire station, open gov payment, fire truck lease payment, and lots of NIBC expenses.
I move we approve the civil city claims.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Discussion. All in favor, state by saying aye.
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 Opposed? Motion passes.
We have water claims in the amount of $330,668.23. That does include monthly transfers.
I move we approve the water claims.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Discussion.
I'm sorry, that was wastewater claims. Did I say water? No, wastewater.
Wastewater.
Oh, so, okay, just to make sure it's, the wastewater
That was
claims.
the right dollar amount, that's what I
That
was.
was
That's
the
what I
right
was looking
dollar
at, too.
amount, yes.
So I do have a motion and a second on wastewater. Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes 3-0.
And then for water claims, $248,492.37, and that does include monthly transfers.
I move we approve the water claims.
Second.
Motion and a second. Discussion. Hearing none. All in favor, state by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes 3-0. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Let's go ahead and move to department head reports. Jamie Novak.
Good morning.
Remember, let's start with her.
I don't have anything new to report today.
We thank you for stepping into the hot seat for us today.
You're welcome.
Jerry-
We'll pepper you later with questions.
Guys, please don't.
By the way, if you didn't hear, Jamie's daughter is officially accepted at Purdue. So congratulations.
Nice.
Cool.
Yeah, it's a great school.
Jerry Jackson, wastewater.
Just report that our phosphorus project is going slower than I like. We need to be in compliance with the monthly average in March. I'm pushing the contractor to do that. I'm also working on Plan Bs in case the contractor doesn't get his work done, so.
What's the issue?
They're just a small company and they're slow. They don't have the manpower and they're doing very good work. It's
Okay.
just slow.
Is there any compliance or safety issue in regards to kind of it taking longer?
Well, we have given them some rope, so to speak, because they've had problems getting things. And there were terms in the contract we could have applied because they were beyond the contract date, but we didn't because they had issues getting tanks, they had issues getting pumps, and it didn't seem fair with all the supplies. But we're getting down to the deadline here.
Yeah, because it seems like every time you've reported on it before, we've been on track and, maybe waiting for, like you said, equipment and
Yeah.
things, but not.
Yeah, and we'll get a good job out of it when it's done. It's just slower than I'd like.
And I've seen firsthand Jerry is definitely pushing these individuals. And to get this work done. so.
You happened to walk in, didn't you?
Yes.
Good to know.
Tim Warner, Water.
The water department is working with Nice Engineering and well-designed companies. I know I've mentioned this many times in previous meetings, but we are getting close to finalizing the well design for Soldier Memorial Park. We did run into a couple hiccups, so I had to go back to the design, but we're still hoping to have that out to bid here real soon. That way we can get new water supply coming into the Lake Street plant. Crews have also been out working on some problematic hydrants that we had around town. We have a few hydrants that were installed, well, I'm going to say in the late 60s, that don't drain properly. So if someone uses them and we're not notified, they can freeze just because the weep holes at the bottom get clogged up. In the past, they kind of put limestone down around there, which doesn't allow them to drain that good. So now, years back, we switched to river rock, about a ton of river rock at the bottom of them just to give it good draining. So we're addressing some of those issues. In between leaks, the guys have been really busy with leaks. Again, Monday they worked on another holiday on a leak over in off Willow Bend. Let's see what else we got here. We'll be also meeting with Nice Engineering. We have to replace some of our SCADA hardware. The computers that run that, we're regulated by IDEM. They have to be changed out every 6 years, just some of the hard components inside there. It's not your typical computer. They're rack system computers, servers and everything built up. So just to keep all that stuff running, we'll be sending that out to get rebuilt, and that way they're reliable for us. Going along with Jerry's phosphorus issues, where Jerry and I will be meeting with Water Solutions to look at a different. We put phosphorus in the water that Jerry pays for, and then he's got to remove it. So it's for corrosion control inside the pipes and stuff like that. So we're looking at some different chemicals, different process to make it a little cheaper on Jerry for removing that, so he can get in compliance a little easier. So I'm waiting for a call back from those officials to sit down and meet and see if we can go a different direction with that, just to save the city money all around. So that's all I have this morning.
Craig Phillips, Planning.
Good morning. Busy working on the 39 North annexation, kicking off that effort. Over the course of the next year, you're going to be hearing more about that. Beginning the process for the development of the city's new comprehensive plan, which will take a look at future growth and development and other priorities for the city. Putting out a call for consultants for that as we speak. Work continues on the Trails, Greenways, and Pathways Master Plan, and we have several development agreements that we're working on right now, including the 18th Street Greenway infill project, the Firehouse project, and working on getting the Beechwood Lakes project ready to go. Working on appraisals for that property right now, so we can put that out for public offering very soon. Lots of other things, but that's it for now. So,
And just as some further information on the 39 North annexation, we met with the largest industrial landowner yesterday who's supportive of upgrading the water system, but he informed us of the city of Scottsdale in Arizona have shut off the water to a neighboring community, Rio Verde, and that was I walked into the house and that was on NBC Nightly News, the top story. And they're for different reasons, but again, they have already done that. That's not our goal. Our goal is to fix the problems they have and move forward. So we're excited that we're now to the 39 North portion of the opportunity here to fix their water.
thanks.
Andrea Smith, HR. Thank you. Beth West, Transport. Jess Bruder, Communications.
Good morning. I don't have much today. I do have a contract to present a little bit later on, so I'll spare you now.
Mark Schreiber, Park.
Good morning. Just want to bring the public's attention. We have a couple exciting things happening next week. Next Tuesday and Thursday, the 24th and 26th, we have our youth sports registration nights at the Civic from 6 to 7:30, which is the kickoff to our spring-summer youth sports registrations, baseball, girls softball, both fast pitch, slow pitch, t-ball, tennis. Just a great opportunity for people to come out, get registered, get a jump on it. Also, if there's any questions they have about the programs, our staff will be there to answer them. Following those registration nights, we will have online registration as well as registration available at the park office. On the January 27th through the 29th, not this weekend, but the following weekend, is our annual Winterfest. We had 11 events, now we have 10 because ice fishing is out with no ice on the lake this year. But we're excited about it. All the information is on our website, laporteparkandrec.com. But we've got a couple new events, a lot of fun stuff, things for the whole family to do over those 3 days. So I do have a couple requests for use on the agenda. I definitely have Plaza 618 on the agenda. We'll also need Grangemouth for the horse-drawn wagon rides, but we'll wait for that to come up on the agenda.
And great job to you and your team on the NIBC.
Appreciate that. It's really a citywide effort. The civic staff did a great job. The Convention Visitors Bureau being a great partner. They helped us with staffing and other things, and Paragon is a great partner to work with on the event. So really a great 3 days for the community and the amount of national exposure we received, but the entertainment value was just tremendous this year. The games were competitive. We had a couple overtime games. We had the Jesse White tumblers in one of the days. It was just really a great 3 days at the Civic. So thank you very much.
Yeah, I'd add one little comment that obviously, great turnout, right? I was there Friday, Saturday, so I don't know what the attendance was, but it looked very full for the most part. But importantly, I talked to a couple folks who lived out of town who watched games, and I asked them. I said, "Well, how does it look on TV? Does the arena look? I mean, does it look?" And really, they're very complimentary of the court and how the space looks when you're watching the games on TV. So I think we're well represented, for anybody who's watching, nationally.
Yeah, it does show real well on TV. It's just we always get those remarks either from people seeing it on television or people attending, coaches, players, spectators, of what a great venue it is. And people talk about great old basketball houses, and it is. And it's pretty amazing that we still have a venue of that nature. So it's pretty exciting to be able to host it, and we're very excited to be hosting it again next year. So hopefully many years into the future.
And it's already led to an individual outside our state that's interested in investing in LaPorte, and he based a lot of that on what he saw over the weekend at the tournament. He made a point to tell Mark and I about that.
Yeah, that was a great point to make, was that, here we have somebody that now interested in making an investment in our community, and mostly in his introduction to our community was seeing us on the NIBC, on ESPN2, ESPNU. So it does have an impact. It does have a tremendous reach, and we're excited. It's really going to become one of those marquee events every year for the Civic. So it's great. Thank you very much.
Hey, when do the new seats get installed? I'm excited
Walking away
to
like,
hear.
that keeps pulling me back
Sorry.
here. Yeah, the renovations begin in June. So it'll be June, July, August. We should have everything wrapped up and done by the third week of August or so to be ready to go. And that's another great thing, when we're discussing extending this, discussing that with Paragon, our partners, all the improvements that we have already committed to make, as well as improvements that we potentially could also make. Those are the things that help sell the facility as well. I mean, it's a great historic venue, but modernization and things like that are important, especially when you want to attract a regional audience. So it's going to be great, very impactful, and we're excited for the events that we can additionally bring once the renovations are completed.
I'm going to ask something when you start walking away again.
Bert Cook, LEAP.
Good Morning to the Board of Public Works. Bert Cook, Executive Director of the LaPorte Economic Advancement Partnership. Just one thing this morning, I want to get on your calendars. If you are interested, February 24th at 8 a.m. at the Performing Arts Center, we will have our third House session. It's an opportunity with state and local legislators, if you're interested in the legislative process or issues that are before our local elected officials or our state elected officials. We would suggest you attend the event. It's always well attended. It is free to anyone that would like to attend. You can register at laportepartnership.com or call our office at 219-324-8584 to sign up. And I know we'll have a good turnout that day, so hopefully you can make it.
Did you say the 20, sorry, the 20, February 24th?
24th, correct. 8 a.m. to 9:45, Performing Arts Center at the high school.
And also, I think we have some comments on Newport Landing, if you don't mind, while we're here.
Yes, it was asked, what is the news on Newport Landing North and the EPA testing being done? Do you have any?
Well, that's probably,
Familiar with what Newport Landing North is, but obviously we've seen a great amount of growth in the Newport Landing area, a number of new businesses there.
Generally, what, I mean, this
Now
is the
that
old Alice Chalmers site, so there's always EPA testing that's a part of any project out there, right?
Correct, and I mean, I think maybe that's one of the things that isn't well understood, is the city's been working for 20-plus years on the cleanup of that area, and that's not something that just has a definitive start date and stop date. It will likely go on for a long time after, where we're testing to making sure that the work that's been completed has been successful and that the area is ready for development or redevelopment.
but the best part of mayors even before me had the forethought to clean up contamination, not leave contamination in the ground for our residents, and look what it's done now. Development, clean development, and we're excited about that.
And every parcel out there's got different issues. Is that fair to say?
That is correct.
Yeah,
Nick Minnick's not here tonight, but I know Nick would say that, that's been a learning experience, I think, for the entire team, is that each parcel requires different work to remediate some of the issues that are there.
But I
And
wanted
and to be able to remediate and to build anything requires significant approvals from IDEM, correct?
Correct. And also something that is asked often, that's a good question, is, well, why hasn't the city maybe cleaned up everything all at one time? And ultimately, the future use of the property plays a part in how that property will be remediated. So working hand in hand with the private sector to determine what the end use of the property is a component of the remediation effort. And so that's why maybe some timelines are staggered and they don't all occur in the same timeline.
So this is something I wouldn't have understood before I was the city attorney. If you're going to put a parking lot in, what you have to do for a parking lot might be different than where the apartments are, for example.
Very much different, right? And the costs associated with that are significantly different as well. So to be fiscally responsible in that process, you wouldn't want to, let's say, clean a property up to a residential standard that's only going to be used for a parking lot. That would be spending money on something that was, unnecessary.
But for whoever this might be, we're willing to share the facts of the situation. We welcome, encourage transparency, and look forward to those individuals who may have concerns to come in and walk through it, because there's a lot of misinformation out there.
And I guess what's the other option, right? I mean, like to just let it, I think as you pointed out, just let it sit there under.
Put a fence around it.
Right. And then the same individual asked how much affordable housing will be included in the development of the Beechwood Lakes project. I believe that's going to be market rate housing. Is that fair to say?
Yeah, I mean, Craig would be the appropriate one, so I guess I could sit down at that point.
And we can talk more about that. The Healthcare Foundation is funded a study that will be shown to the city council at the first meeting in February, and I think you'll see we need housing of all type. And that's why the first step was cleaning up that these individuals have ignored and turned their head to the rentals. And Mr. Batchelor and his team have set a new standard that people will live in respectful housing and not ignore what these individuals have ignored for years.
We just look at Maple City Commons right adjacent to us now. I think it's a perfect example of the investment that went on there, and they immediately, rented out every single unit, and it's, I don't want to speak for the chief, but from what I hear, we don't see any of the issues that existed there previously. That's what can happen when the public sector and the private sector work together to address an issue.
And their apartments, and Mr. Batchelor, Mr. Breton, and I were out last week at Country Acres, and there are apartments available. So if he has names of individuals to help, because we're helping people every day. We don't put it out on social media because people deserve to have privacy, but if he's willing to help and get those names to us, we can definitely help with affordable housing.
Maybe, I didn't know about this till, I guess, last week. We met with Housing Opportunities. Maybe explain the building they own on Michigan Avenue. I didn't even know that they owned that, but that was a significant, Bert, if you want to comment.
Yeah, and I don't have the address exactly in front of me, but I wasn't aware that they had taken on that project either, but going through the steps in their acquisition and redevelopment, it's amazing the transformation that's occurred. It's a property kind of right across from St. Pete's. I think it has a red metal roof on it now, but it looks terrific. I know that they said they're very successful in the individuals that they've got that are renting units there. So love seeing projects like that.
Yeah, and I think that the CEO at the meeting we were at last week mentioned he was at an event at State Street Church, and somebody came up to him and he was able to find a unit for them within a week, I think. So
That's exactly.
I think that's another project, as you mentioned, it's not out on social media, but that's a 6 or 8 unit building down just a couple blocks from here on Michigan Avenue, right? A nice area of our town that they're looking for other opportunities here. And it may not make sense for that at Beechwood Lakes, right, adjacent to a golf course where that's probably market rate housing. That would be the appropriate use for that, so.
But again, Mr. Batchelor found 2 different rentals for individuals over the last 2 weeks, that were in need of affordable housing. So every day we're working, and I encourage the individuals that have people to connect to us, and we work directly with rental owners and homeowners. Thank you.
Thank you.
Andy Snyder, Fire.
Just to report, the Fire Merit Commission did meet since our last meeting. They made the appropriate promotions to take the place of the retiring firefighters. Tom Lusko was promoted to captain. Eddie Wineland was promoted to captain. Steve Klimzak was promoted to battalion chief. And Mike Boardman was promoted to fire inspector.
I know Eddie Wineland's a MMA wrestler. Did you guys wrestle for those positions, or is that how he got it? Chief Breton.
I have some things later, but I just wanted to point out, Northwest Health donated tourniquets to all our patrol officers, life-saving devices. We really thank them for that. They brought those in last week, and we're still hiring, and we'll cover that later.
Also, we've had a couple instances of people walking up to homes. You've made an arrest, but I guess for the public's information, call 911, correct?
Right. This one was the last one was just by luck. Stumbled upon this person, recognized the car from the video from the house. We don't have an arrest, but we did trespass him, tell him not to come back. Checking his background, he's got a couple burglaries, so this is somebody you don't want roaming around your house. But the homeowner there confronted him, please don't do that. Call 911, let us confront him.
Jeff Batchelor, Streets Code.
Because we've had a lot of good weather, we've been working on the tree stumps. Last week, we got 116 of them down in the city. There's about 500 of them, so we're making progress on them. We're also fixing potholes and water cuts today. As long as the weather cooperates, we're gonna definitely keep up on it. Boarded up houses from fires is what we're working on through code, trying to get those in the works of getting cleaned up. And then American Rubber, where they had the fire, that's something you're gonna see progress on in the next, hopefully, couple days, where they're gonna start cleaning that up.
And not as fast as we want to see it happen, but insurance plays a factor, and the fire investigation plays a factor.
It was a group effort on getting them started and on cleaning up, but it's also, they gotta do it the right way. And that's why IDEM was involved, to make sure that it's not contaminating the area when they take and go to leave it and take it throughout the whole city.
Nick Otis, legal.
Nothing for me this morning.
Department heads that don't have business before the board, have a great day. And let's go to new business. Request for use. Annette Leffler.
I have received 2 requests for use today. The first one is from the YMCA for their annual Tour de la Porte Half Marathon, 5K walk and run, and a 1.5-mile fun walk run. I think you have it in front of you. We have a copy of their liability insurance and a copy of their map, which is the same exact map that they've requested in the past. So I mean, I could go through the closures and the streets if you'd like me to, but I think everybody's familiar with it.
Do I have a motion to approve?
I'm on their board, so I'm going to abstain.
So moved.
I will second that. Discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Abstain? 1 abstain, so motion passes 2-0.
I wanted to mention that anytime that there's questions about this, if they're not here, I can always reach them by phone and have the answer to you before the next meeting. If there's ever any questions, don't hesitate. Everybody's pretty aware that, usually we have a pretty good time frame. So on this one is from the Park Department, and it is just a request to use Plaza 618. They're not requesting to close it. They're not requesting to close any streets, just the use of the plaza for the ice sculpture.
Make a motion to approve.
Second.
Discussion? I have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes 3-0.
And I think Mark might have an additional request.
As I mentioned in my earlier comments, we always have our horse-drawn wagon rides, and they go down Grangemouth, which is a city street. So we would need requests to use. We don't close, but requests to use from 1:30 to 3:30 on the 29th of January.
Do I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
Discussion?
So with that, since we don't have do we need a form for that, or just can we approve that?
It's not a closure.
So we're okay with, okay.
It's really more for information for our street department when we're closing a street or emergency
Okay.
vehicles, but we're not closing a street.
It's just a use. Put horses in a wagon on it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Thank you. Parking ticket appeal.
So I have an appeal on a ticket that was issued, to get down to it, sorry. On December 27th, in the 600 block of Jefferson. It is ticket number 68985, and the gentleman who appealed the ticket is here. And his reason for appealing is that he was unable to park on the proper side of the street because there was snow blocking it. I did check, it had been a particularly cold and snowy week. That's the only information I have about it.
Thoughts from police, streets?
I don't know what the conditions were that night, so.
I know that was a snowy week, I thought.
Yeah, we got a lot of snow in the course of 4 days during that week. But, so he was parked on the wrong side in a restricted zone.
Just a moment, we'll wait for that. Mr. Schultz, do I have a motion to, I guess, eliminate the ticket, or to, knowing this situation, or do I have a motion? I mean, I remember that snow week.
Because of the weekend before was, because Christmas. Yeah, I'll make a motion to remove the parking ticket, accept the appeal.
Yes.
Void, I would say.
Void the ticket.
Void the ticket.
Void the ticket.
Thank you.
Okay, second.
I have a motion and a second. I would just say to Mr. Schultz and anybody else, this is a warning. There's also, I think, other parking available around. Please use that with the signs. And I do have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed, motion passes 3-0.
Thank you.
Mr. Schultz, anything you want to add before we just voided?
No.
Voided.
Oh, okay. Well,
Please come to the mic.
I do appreciate you understanding the parking around here. And being in that blockage, for me to park my car with stuff in it, you know, a block away is, you know, I don't need to come out and see a window broken, tools gone. So, under the circumstances, I appreciate and thank everybody.
Thank you. All right, Brian, you dropped sunglasses there, but thank you very much.
Readers.
Okay, thank you. And
Thanks.
I will be in touch soon. Thank you, Mayor.
Yes, sir. Nick Otis.
I'm going to ask that this be tabled. Jerry emailed me, and I did look at the statute. The council has to pass a resolution first on this purchase agreement for Rhoda Farm, so this will be back.
I slowed us up, huh?
Well, it's the correct way to do it. I double-checked the statute. So the first February meeting, this will be on the docket. So this is a parcel behind stormwater that the city's going to acquire. And Jerry, what do you got some plans for this? Is that correct?
Yeah, it's accessible from our south road and our solids handling area, so we'd use it to handle street sweepings, storm drain cleaning materials, sewer cleaning materials. Just put a pad there where trucks could come in, dump, dry it up, then haul it out. So,
Yeah, so it'll be on the agenda next 2 weeks from now.
Do you need a motion
No.
to table?
Yeah, we probably need a
You
motion.
prefer a motion? All right.
Do I have a motion to table?
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Discussion? All in favor, state by saying aye.
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 Opposed, motion passes 3-0. Chief Breton.
Before we do the lateral transfer, I just asked the board's permission also to bring up a late breaking contract I got late yesterday afternoon, and I gave it to Mr. Otis to review the legal ease of it. I wanted to bring that up once we do that, if that's acceptable. It's for the flock cameras. I've got them, I'll come hand them to you, so.
So would you like to
Yeah,
talk
I
about
could-
that first?
Right, I can do that. As you know, we talked about the license plate readers. This is the system that the county, this is going to be locations where they're at. We've got just about every entrance covered of the city.
Thank you.
And this is the cost projection. And I know we covered that under the new lit. And I gave Mr. Otis the 14-page contract.
And if we can just walk through, since we're receiving it, just as a reminder what this flock camera will do and how it's already been used.
If you,
help.
right, the flock cameras are at use, and Michigan City is installing them now. The counties had them. If you look at a map of northwest Indiana, they're almost everywhere. The only blacked out spot was the city of LaPorte. What this does, if you have an alert, we use this in a homicide where we typed in the vehicle information, we got a hit, that's where we knew to locate it. These read the license plate as they go by. If there's a want on that vehicle, it alerts the law enforcement agencies. It'll come through our MDTs or our cell phones if we decide to download the app. That gives us direction. There's several of them right now. There's 2 on Highway 39. There's a few on Highway 35. There's one on Highway 30. Anybody that comes out of Valpo, you'll see one sitting right at the county line. We're talking about putting 11 of those in all the entrances of the city. Worried about the cars that come in. Anybody that exits are going to be picked up other locations. The town of Walkerton is putting in 10 of them right now. New Carlisle's putting in 4 of them. So we'll have access to theirs, they'll have access to ours. We type in a BOLO, be on the lookout, for a vehicle for any reason, whether it be stolen, it's known for drug use, any crimes, anything like that, it's going to alert the agency that's closest, and then we can all see that. So what we're looking at, as you can see our map, we've got just about everything covered. Some of those cameras will actually sit out in the county, but they maintain them. Flock does everything on those. If somebody comes and runs one over, they replace it. We don't have to insure them. The other system we're looking at, we would have had to insure them. We would have owned them after a year. This is the new technology keeps going, and it's a 2-year contract that they're asking us to sign. And when we discussed it, the other company was OmniQ, but we want to be on the same page as everybody else. And these go all the way to the state line that we would see, and then they're active in other states as well. They run off solar power. They're just a simple, if you didn't know what you were looking for, you wouldn't even know they're there. We've even got, if you see with your map, we even have one set up for Orchard Avenue coming down 2nd Street.
And this is where the public safety lit has helped, whether it's an aerial truck for the fire department, technology for the police department. I think this is important. And we just had a shooting at Mickey's over the
Right.
weekend, and that would have potentially picked
Right.
up individuals that were coming into the city, correct?
Yes, if we would have given a car description, that would have hit on that car description. And would have given us possible plates. It gives us a place to start. As of right now, we don't have anything.
Is it, quick question, looking at this map, I think it's a great idea. I think this extends the ability of our police department to be able to really capture what's happening, right, that's very difficult with personnel. So I think it's a fantastic idea. Just looking at kind of the placement of some of these, there's there's nothing coming in on 39 North. I know that'd probably be captured on what looks to be Pine Lake Avenue, but I'm just wondering if that's not a place to have one of these
There's
set up.
2 in the county, that's why we did that.
There's,
Yeah,
so
the
coming
county
in,
has
okay,
northbound and
gotcha.
southbound on 39. So we didn't want to double up on things.
Okay.
I'll make a motion to approve.
So,
We can talk about it more
second.
if you want.
I have a motion and a second discussion.
I would just add one thing. I know sometimes people bring up, privacy issues and there, Mr. Otis, correct me if I'm wrong, there's no privacy when you're driving on a public road, right?
No.
This is absolutely completely appropriate, and I think it really speaks to the ability for our police department to enforce, the safety for our residents in this community. And you kind of cited the example, this weekend, but I'm sure there are many of those examples that likely occur throughout the year.
Well, the statistics show that 70% of your crimes are done involving a motor vehicle. So that's where this is so huge. And as we go on with this, as it evolves, I'll bring you in the aerial of Northwest Indiana. It's amazing how many are in use. And it's new technology, but it's not. It's been around Indy for the last 5 years. On those crimes, that's what we were watching. We were watching for the car. We thought the suspect was heading south when it ended up he didn't get farther than Gary. But we knew he was there. So you look at the man hours right there. We had the confirmation 1:30 in the morning, and 3-4 hours as opposed to days we'd be looking for this guy. But as you see, I'm just asking at the board that I can sign this contract, send it back to them with your authority after Mr. Otis reviews everything.
So the motion would be with legal approval?
Yep, that's fine.
And there is a 6 to 8 week, because it takes them that long to get NDOT permissions and things like that.
But then, every other year, there'll be the annual subscription for the software, is that correct?
Right. And that includes all their maintenance. As you see, the first year is the big one,
Yeah,
then it's 27.5 a year after that.
right.
Further discussion?
Is there a way to statistically see, or for you guys to then be able to track how much time this is saving and?
Yes, they'll give us
That'd
any
be-
hits we have.
That'd be pretty interesting to see that
There's also,
in the future, like time savings or just the capture of people who wouldn't likely have been, arrested.
Right.
There's also technology that's not allowed in the state of Indiana currently, the red light cameras. You know, you see the time that is spent by our officers on speeding and trying to catch them, and when you catch one, 5 or 6 are going by. And, but your point of personal information, the Indiana legislature has not approved any use of those type of cameras currently. But when you think about the limited force that we have and the opportunities to catch speeders, that's new technology out there, but not currently allowed in the state of Indiana.
And we will track the use on these, and they have assured us that if we have to move anything, or you can add, schools can add these if they'd like on their property. I mean, this is something that's open to private as well.
Real quick, Chief, these aren't going to be used to give tickets out, correct?
No,
Yeah,
not at all.
I think
Not
that's
at all.
right. So this is just
We're
merely
not
to.
allowed to do that yet.
Right.
Correct. The state of Indiana does
It,
not allow that.
however, can alert us to an expired plate, and it will. So if somebody drives by it and it shows their plate hasn't been renewed for 2 years, it's going to send us the alert, and we can stop that car based on that. Because once again, license plates in the public view, there's no expectation of privacy.
And that's the difference with these versus being able to give a ticket. These are legal in the state of Indiana,
Right.
so. All right, all in favor, state by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion passes 3-0.
Thank you. The other thing is our Merit Commission has offered a conditional offer of employment to Richard Simpson, who goes by Rico. Came in and helped us during the protest. He's from North Judson. He's got 8 years' experience. He has a K-9. They're going to allow him to take the K-9 as well and bring it to us. He only has a few years left under his belt, the K-9, but just asking that we can start him at the specialist pay him for his service. We won't have to send him to the academy, obviously. There'll be an abbreviated FTO. He said his big thing is streets. His wife really wants to move to LaPorte. He was in the running at Plymouth, but she really likes LaPorte. So he was very excited to get the conditional.
And the lateral, that won't affect anybody's current level.
Ranking level, time and
Ranking
grade,
level.
no. It just pays him for his experience. And when you pay somebody 4 months to go to the police academy, then pay the academy fees,
And he's coming with
adds
a
on.
canine.
Right.
That he's been trained with.
right. He was going to retire the dog, and I said, well, he's still certified, we'll use him.
And we saw the advantage of a dog just last week with the county, so it's a good.
And we
thing.
are currently down a K-9 as well, so.
Do I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion and a second discussion. All in favor, state by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion passes 3-0.
And hopefully by the next Board of Works, you'll get to meet him, because we'll swear him in.
Oh, I'm gonna miss that. Does the dog get sworn in too?
We can have him bring him.
And if you want to share, by the way, you have a comfort animal that's at the police station?
I
Or
don't want to talk too much about that right now. She got a little aggressive yesterday, so we're-
Okay.
the
Of course it's a she.
the officer's going to keep her, but there were some issues. So we're still looking for the perfect. We're going to do that program. But even Ashley said, I think she's a little, she started to guard her office, and she wouldn't let anybody get within 20 feet, so it didn't work out too well. So. But she says, I'm attached to her, can I keep her? Well, absolutely, you can keep her. We'll continue that search. We need a couch potato dog is what we need.
She's going to guard the office, we need to charge him rent, right?
But to explain, Ashley Adams is one of our detectives. She came up with the idea of a therapy animal. Other departments are doing this. Gave her, you run with it. And it's a great idea. You see something, you go out on a stressful call, you can come in, play with that dog. Well, this dog you couldn't, but, so we're looking for the perfect dog. We have feelers out there. They're looking for a couch potato dog. Valpo does this. Valpo, the university does it. And they recently brought it to an officer's funeral, and it was amazing how the officers interacted with that dog. And that's what we're looking for.
Are you looking at like the shelters and stuff
Yes.
as well?
That's where
It'd be nice to
Haven came
rescue.
from, was LaPorte County Shelter. But we've got, Ashley's reached out to the Humane Society, and they're looking for her as well.
Yeah.
Well, now I know why Chief was so excited to have me come over to the department and meet the dog yesterday.
With a stake around your neck.
Thank you. Jess Bruder.
Before you is a contract to renew our agreement with Great News Life. They've been an incredible partner to the city of LaPorte. They do a lot for us. We meet quarterly to talk about things that are upcoming in the city so that they can get their writers on writing pieces for us. And they do a lot for us in terms of social media, spreading awareness about our events. And they just came and did free headshots for all city employees. So I would strongly encourage you to renew this.
Do I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion and a second discussion.
Is this for all of 23 and 24, or 23, just 23? It says 23 to 24, that's why I was curious if it's
I
a
think our
2-year or 1
contract
year.
year over, it's not a perfect calendar year. So
It's a fiscal,
probably, yeah,
but
it
it's
goes
one
into- Yes, 1 year.
calendar. Okay,
Annual.
gotcha.
Okay.
That's all.
Further questions? All in favor, state by, oh,
I was just gonna say, it's impressive about the traffic that they get, 87,000
Yeah.
unique
Yeah.
visitors monthly. That's incredible.
They're an incredible resource, not just for the city, but for Northwest Indiana as a whole, so.
Nice.
all in favor, state by saying aye.
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 Opposed, motion passes 3-0.
Thank you.
Andy Snyder.
Thank you, Mayor. Project SWAT, I'll give you a little background before I go into this. Project SWAT, you've heard the mayor and myself talk about community paramedicine a little bit and how we want to get the department moving into this direction. We were approached by Franciscan Health about a grant that they had received called Project SWATL. And it isn't a full community paramedicine program, but it is a dealing with prenatal, postpartum visits to homes of expectant mothers. And they asked us to be a partner with them as part of the people feet on the ground to be part of the program. So there's going to be more than just the MOA that's in front of you coming forward for the program, but the basis of it is that they need to get this started. First and foremost, they needed to equip their partner in this. We tentatively agreed to this. The first thing that they needed to do was buy a vehicle. So the MOA that you see in front of you is actually dealing with them buying the City of LaPorte Fire Department a vehicle for a truck for $49,990. You'll notice that the MOA is actually with the Indiana Rural Health Association. That is the governing body for the grant. And Franciscan felt it better just to go directly for the truck to be purchased by the City of LaPorte and the MOA to come from Indiana Rural Health for this portion of it. Future ones will come from Franciscan, so it's different working parts going together here. We do have a little bit of the background, I'll go out into what you'll probably hear more of as I bring another MOU in front of you. We do have at least 5 individuals, 2 paramedics and 3 EMTs that are excited about being part of this program, and they have committed that they will, they'll be happy to be, again, our representatives to go out into these expectant moms' homes, help them get prepared for baby birth and also what to do after baby and make sure that their health is paramount as well as their surrounding and their environment. All the future ones that'll be coming forward, you'll notice that all expenses will be paid out of that grant for us participating in the program. They even have, even though they're providing us with the vehicle, they even have built in for mileage and other expenses. So basically, this MOA that I'm asking approval for today is just that we accept their purchasing, or us to purchase the truck for almost $50,000.
Do I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
Discussion, Mr. Otis, have you had a chance to review? Any concerns, all good?
It's a short agreement, yeah.
Yes, very, very direct and to the point.
So basically this would cover, so the grants coming through Franciscan, then, but the actual purchase is through the Indiana Rural Health Association, and then from there, any kind of maintenance costs or whatever, will that be
That
through
is-
that additional grant, or that will then be upon us to?
That is accepted, that is part of our agreement as future, because also the truck is, even though it's for the purposes of these visits and business relating to the Project Swaddle, they made it very clear that it is also available for any other department use that we would need. So then, again, that is part of ours to go ahead and accept maintenance, future maintenance. We basically own it from
It's
here on out.
property of the city.
Right.
essentially,
And
correct?
that's why they're doing it. It's a three-pronged system. Even though we are partners with Franciscan, they wanted to send the check, which they've already sent the check to the clerk treasurer's office. It's been deposited in one of our non-reverting funds and just waiting for, this is kind of like, we've already went down that road. We just want to make sure that the MOA that they had, that we're accepting that.
So for the individuals that are interested in being a part of this sort of paramedicine program, right, is there a training that they'll be involved in? And then how will this work from the manpower standpoint of, the fire department employees?
Right. There is training. That was their first question, too. They didn't want to be thrown to the wolves out there. But there is extensive training that they will receive. And as far as manpower, it will not affect manpower because this will be all done off-duty as a compensation in their off-duty time. So it will not affect our manpower on duty.
And the compensation goes through Franciscan?
Yes.
But as well, we have an issue with young babies. The Healthcare Foundation has been really promoting the improvements in this, I call it hospital in the home. Your medics will be able to go in and, prepare the mom, prepare, everything there, and hopefully save lives.
That's exactly it. And that's what the goal of this whole program is. And on a secondary note, we were looking to get into, as the mayor's mentioned previously, not going into a lot of detail, we have more will be coming, but we want to get into a full-blown community paramedicine program. This gets us started. The neat thing is, keep our fingers crossed, with the assistance of Northwest Health, we submitted for a grant back in, I think, November, late November, early December, which will give us the ability of awarded here at the end of January to do a full community paramedicine program. Again, all costs covered with that. The city wouldn't have expense associated with it.
So, yeah, I mean, I like the fact that it's a pretty cost-efficient way for us to help, kind of support that prenatal health. And I mean, I don't know the exact metrics, but I know that low birth weight births are an important metric when taking a look at the healthiness of a community. So will this then, I mean, it sounds like this fits very well in with the overall, the paramedicine approach, right, with taking with the fire department, so. Yeah.
Very much so. Yeah, and I mean, the goals that the grant has set, it obviously is to improve baby health, mother health. It starts out with some very obtainable goals as far as the county's concerned. As in our, if we can make a difference, that's what we're here to do. And we want to build on it. We'd love to eclipse the goals that they've set.
Further questions? All in favor, state by saying aye.
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 Opposed, motion passes 3-0. Jerry Jackson.
I've got renewals for hauled wastewater permits for KFAX Inc., Johnson Septic Service, D&M Excavating, Jagged Trucking, Delta Industrial, and Sudlow Excavating. All these companies are all in good standing with us. They pay their bills. They haven't caused us any problems, and they're a source of income for the city. I'd recommend renewal of their permits.
So moved to renew.
Second.
Discussion? All in favor, state by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes.
Next item is permission to bid the letters and numbers project. That's a sewer separation project initiated for drainage, but it's a joint project between water, sewer, and engineering. We're going to reconstruct I Street, put a new water main in. It's funded by the 2021 sewer and storm bonds, the water department's capital funds, and community crossing paving grant. So it's got a number of partners all involved in this project. I love when we can do a project in this fashion. We would receive bids and award in February for spring construction.
Motion to approve.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion. I mean, obviously, we've been talking about letter and number streets and after Monroe Manor, and we're excited to get this done this year.
And so this would be, so completely separate
We
sewers in that area?
In that area, yep.
Okay.
Some, on 12th Street, there's some green technology that takes the peak off the stormwater but doesn't do complete separation. On 12th Street, the grades are such we can't get it to our storm basin. So, but in the rest of the area, it's all complete separation. So it,
Is there a different long-term solution for the 12th Street area you just referenced, or is that more like we just have to
it's
stick with it as is?
It's difficult because there's not a ready place to put the stormwater in the vicinity. With this project, we'll free so much sewer capacity, plus we'll percolate a lot into the ground, that it should be the good long-term solution for it.
Further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes 3-0.
Next item is the permission to solicit quotes for the scum pump improvements. The board allowed me to purchase a replacement scum pump last year. This would be bidding the installation, so it'd be plumbing work in the vault. It would be force main, some piping across the plant a short distance, and electrical work. It's a little bit bigger than we can do in-house, and I'd request permission to solicit quotes for this work. It should be within the quote range.
And then we'll also have a special meeting to receive the quotes on February 2nd at 9 a.m.
Yep.
So do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes 3-0. Phosphorus pay request.
This is pay request number 9. Takes us to 76% of the project. Payment due to KDM is $80,960. As I've mentioned in the start of the meeting, they're doing good work. I am trying to speed them up. I'd recommend approval.
Make a motion to pay.
Second.
Discussion. In favor, state by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes 3-0. Nice proposal.
This, the board passed the same agreement last year. It's good for a year. It's for miscellaneous engineering work. If I need help speccing a pump or have a problem I don't know how to solve, I can call Nice and they'll help me with it in, just a small manner. It's for a not-to-exceed amount of $2,000 a month. As like last year's contract, it'd only be good for this year. And again, it just handles miscellaneous issues that get beyond my ability.
Motion to approve.
So moved.
I'm going to abstain.
Member Romine will abstain, so I will second that. Discussion.
So this is just, so it's as needed, right? With these hourly, it's as you, if you need some assistance in these areas, you pull that in, not to exceed that 2,000.
Exactly right. Most months I don't spend anything.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you've
that
still.
going.
Yeah.
Well, I got to qualify that. I spend a lot every single month, but on this issue,
Just not on this one.
Well, and just, so along those same lines, like, so if we were not to have an agreement like this in place, is it the case that these rates would then be higher because we're not, effectively, we effectively have them on a retainer? with the county?
exactly right. So the rates are better, and it provides a regular mechanism for them to say, this work we're doing is covered under this contract, and, yeah.
As opposed to, we'll get to you when we can.
Right.
When you've got a problem or question, or, okay.
Yep.
And local talent, so.
For sure.
That's also.
For sure,
The
local
water
talent.
department's got the same agreement with them, you guys approved it earlier.
Okay.
Further discussion? All in favor, state by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Oppose,
I'm abstaining, sorry, it's
Member
habit.
Romine will abstain.
Boyd.
I vote yes, motion passes 2-0.
Thank you.
Beth West.
I'm partnering with the engineer's office because I've never done a propane contract bid before, so between Jamie and I, we'll muster through this. Should received information, we had to, State Board of Accounts did their audit last year and realized that we didn't have an active propane contract. So we are going through that process of getting a contract. NERC also has to be involved because of the amount, since we spend over $50,000 a year on propane. NERC has to be involved because of reimbursement from FTA. So it's been a process, making sure that the legal jargon in our contracts were up to what FTA has wanted. We received 2 bids. We did bring that briefly up at the December meeting. We did need some additional information from both organizations that bid. You should have received the amounts. I've talked with Nick, we've talked with NERC, and we're proposing to go with Feral Gas as they came in much lower than Co-Alliance per gallon.
So Nick prepared a little bit of information. He just said that he worked with transport as well as legal as well as NERC, and at this time he would recommend to award Feral Gas for the fixed price of $1.79 a gallon, or $52,200 for the 30,000 gallons that will be supplied. I'm trying to see what else he said here. They were the most responsive bidder, with only a 9-cent difference between fixed price, which is Division B, and fuel supplied with an escalator clause, Division A. So it is his recommendation to award the fixed price bid over the bid with the escalator clause.
Motion to approve.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion. Have we used Farrell before?
Not since I've been here, it's always been Co-Alliance. So what we'll have to do is the equipment that's on our property now belongs to Co-Alliance. We'll have to partner up between the two to empty the tank and then get a new tank installed. We've talked to both companies and they're promising me that it'll be seamless, which is what we're hoping, because we really don't want to have an interruption in service. We're getting extremely busy. We're averaging 180 to 200 riders a day, so we don't want to interrupt service to our customers. So hopefully, and Feral Gas is saying that it'll probably take about a month. So we're looking at probably February as to when this replacement can be done. The contract, now that we have awarded, a contract will be written up. It will go before Nick, and it will also go before NERC's board. Their board doesn't meet again until March. But they have assured me that they will backdate it, so there won't be any delay in payment once our first quarter is done and we submit for reimbursement.
And I've heard Farrell's name. I mean, they're, I believe, a large company, but do they supply any other area here? I mean, we know they can cover what we need.
They can cover what we need. I have seen some of their trucks in the area. I'm not exactly sure what companies they actually supply in town, but I have seen their trucks.
They have locations in Plymouth, Chesterton, Demont. They're very, I would, probably similar size to Co-Alliance would be my guess.
That's pretty.
And it's specifically for 30,000 gallons?
We did an average of what we, last year, we had over 27,000 gallons. So that's about an average. And we're running almost close to what we were running in 2019. So we felt that 30,000 was a good number. And this will be a 3-year contract.
it's pretty, that's a significant savings, right?
Yes.
So
Yes.
Yes, it
it-
is.
I mean, literally, on an annual basis pays for some of the things that, we approve that are, extend our abilities as a city, so.
And right now, propane has been low, so we've been very fortunate that our bills have been low. But just like unleaded, you never know when it's going to jump. So having that price locked in is going to help our budget tremendously.
So I do have a motion and a second. All in favor, state by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed, motion passes 3-0. Thank you. Nick Minnick is not here.
Nope, but Jamie is.
Jamie is.
So on Wednesday, January 11th at 10 o'clock in the council chambers, we received and opened bids for the refuse and yard waste collection. 5 bid responses were received at the bid opening, and 2 additional companies submitted letters, indicating that they were not interested in bidding at this time. 4 of the 5 bids submitted included base bid amounts, with the 5th bidder submitting specifically for alternative bid, so like an à la carte type of contract. At this time, Nick is recommending that the Board of Public Works and Safety accept all 5 submitted bids for review and recommendation at the next scheduled meeting.
Do I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second discussion. I mean, I'd just like to say, customer service to me is number one, that someone has somebody to call when there's an issue. With what we inherited, we see what these last 4 years have been like, so we want to make sure that we aren't in the trash business, but who's ever handling that handles the customer service and is responsive to our residents. So that's one of my biggest points that I want to make sure we improve on.
When does the new contract start, or when would that period start for the new?
I
March.
think it's March, and I didn't want to misspeak, but I think he said March.
Further discussion? All in favor, state by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes 3-0. Unfinished business, the Lineski annexation. Nick Otis?
Yep, before you, you have kind of a short agreement with Lineskis, who were part of the recent annexation of what we'd call Pine Lake North. The parcels that the Lineskis own, one of them was part of the annexation, the other one was not part of it, but it's an area that they use for I think they have horses out there, and they just wanted, I think, really what we're agreeing to as part of our ordinances already in terms of what they're allowed to do out there. So this just formalizes that agreement.
And I believe Member Romine has to abstain. Do
Mayor, I don't know if you have any comment on, I mean, you met with the Lineskis.
No, they've been
right?
very supportive. They understand the water issue and what the city needs to do, and been very helpful in the negotiation. So we appreciate their efforts to help. Do I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second, discussion? All in favor, state by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion passes 2-0, and Member Romine will abstain. Next meeting, Tuesday, February 7th at 9 a.m. I'd like to remind everybody, I believe Monday, February 6th, the Healthcare Foundation will be providing the housing study report, and I think that'll be very interesting of what the city of LaPorte, the type of housing that we need in our community that hasn't had much growth or development. You've got Mitch Ficus's development there, but other than that, we haven't seen a lot of development until recently. I think up on McClung Road, some of the housing there, but we've got a lot of work to do on all types of housing, and that's a top priority here as we go into 2023. You've seen 18th Street happen, so with the housing potential there, so we're excited to develop more.
Mayor, is that, so the February 6th, that where and when?
6 PM here at City Hall during the council meeting.
Oh, gotcha, okay.
Contacted me yesterday was the first.
Further comments from the public?
Yes, Mr. Miller continues to comment and wants to understand why developers that get tax abatements or incentives don't have to offer affordable housing as a part of that. And I think probably that goes to what you just commented on, if you want to address that.
Yeah, I mean, we're looking, there's always an interesting thought on what's affordable, but, whether it's the 30%, and we're going to continue to work with developers for all types of housing. Higher end to lower end, because one thing the study's going to show is that a lot of the higher end incomes are taking those workforce housings, those moderately cost houses, away from the individuals that need it. And you say housing development, we haven't had until recent housing development. In fact, 18th Street is the first development that we're going to see by a regional builder that are doing more than just one-off homes. And so we're excited to provide housing for all types.
I guess the other comment I would make, the projects that I can think of that the city's worked on, Maple City Commons right here, I don't know that you would, that is market-based rentals, but that is for moderate incomes, would be my guess. There was tax incentives with that, is that correct? There was an abatement, I believe, that was offered there. Obviously, the bank.
No abatement.
No abatement?
Mr. Cook is saying no abatement.
Okay, there was funds made available through the city, is that correct?
But not abated. I mean, there were no
But
tax.
the city incentivized, that was for moderate income housing, I think is a fair way of putting it. Obviously, you've got the banks, which was incentivized, and then I think this one that you just mentioned on 18th Street, I think I don't know if there's an abatement that's been offered, but at this point, correct?
So, and again, I encourage them to come to City Hall, come to the meetings, and let's talk about it. We tried to be transparent. And again, if you have individuals that need housing, we're doing that every day. So please let us know who those individuals are. Mr. Batchelor, I think you're open a meeting,
Yeah, very much so.
and we can put people in homes like we continually do.
I mean, I think the thing here is that, I mean, it's easy to ask questions about all kinds of things, right? To kind of poke and figure out, well, we'll answer this question. The key is, and certainly this housing study is going to be an important part, right? Because there isn't we don't know yet, but right, based upon the study, I imagine that we'll have good information. But there shouldn't be a move to provide significant amounts of low-income or no-income housing if we don't have people in our community who need that. So I think we should have the supply that appropriately matches the demand within our community. I don't know that any community is looking to attract more, zero-income residents to come in, right? I mean, I'm not sure what this individual is shooting for, but, right, we want to have the appropriate amount of housing at a variety of income levels, right? Because that creates a wonderfully diverse community, right? Because that's important. It's not just all about low-income housing or high-income housing, right? We want to have the right blend, and we want to have it sort of in the right locations that make sense for our community. I mean, ultimately, that's what we're doing. So I think the bottom line is what we're looking to do is to match the supply and demand, not just constantly be pressing for we need more of this and this and this. We want to have the right amount, and we also want to attract the right, or have housing that attracts employers and folks that come in that bring additional, income and the ability to spend as well. So, I mean, I think it's kind of a blend of all of it. So, I mean, I'm just sharing that because I think it's a big picture look at this, not just always pressing on, well, here's what we need. Well, I'd love to hear if experts that are out there, come in and tell us then. Let's hear that information to then align it alongside the HFL funded housing study to find out, what is really the demand within our community and what's our supply. I mean, I think that's what we're going for here, is to try to find that right balance, which to me only makes sense.
And again, I'd encourage them, we can walk, set up a time. My cell is 363-7293, set up a text, and I think what's forgotten or continues to be ignored is the work that's been done with the current set of rentals and the standard that's been set, so those lower income individuals have a quality place to live, safe, respectful, without bed bugs, without all the issues that we've been facing. And so if he can set up a time, we'll walk the houses, look forward to it, and
Another reminder would be that Habitat is going to be building 5 homes on the Tippema Bakery
Yes.
property, and they work with families to see if they're eligible for very affordable housing, houses that they will own. So there's a lot of different resources if you start looking.
Well, I think talking with various CEOs at the hospital over the years too, you talk about for all housing, doctors have trouble finding houses here that aligns with what they want. If you want doctors to stay in the community, you want them living here, right? If you want them to stay at the hospital. So I agree with those sentiments. So this commenter, I guess, can reach out to you directly, Mayor, right? I think you've offered that various times. Is that correct?
100%, and look forward to it. So we try to work with the residents of the city. I think this individual's outside the city, but love it. So with that, any further notes, messages? Hearing none, do I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? We are adjourned. Have a great day, everybody.